The subway doors close and the train begins to move through the city. Around you, dozens of people stand quietly, holding the metal rails, each absorbed in their own small world. Some are reading news on their phones, others are responding to work messages, and a few simply stare out the window as buildings slide past in slow motion. It is a routine that repeats every morning across countless cities, a quiet procession of people moving toward another day of work. But inside this train, there is an invisible difference between the passengers. Some people are working only for money. Others are slowly learning how money works for them. At first, that difference is almost impossible to see. Everyone wakes up at similar hours, travels to similar offices, and receives similar paychecks at the end of the month. The shift does not begin with dramatic lifestyle changes or bold financial moves. Instead, it starts with a subtle understanding that money can be placed into systems designed to grow quietly over time. For beginners, the difficulty is rarely motivation. Most people understand that investing matters. The challenge is knowing where to start in a financial world that often appears complex, technical, and filled with conflicting advice. Yet, if we look at the history of long-term investors, a pattern quietly appears. Most people who gradually build wealth do not begin with complicated strategies. They begin with a few simple types of investments that form the foundation of most portfolios around the world. Understanding these categories does not guarantee results, but it does provide a clearer picture of how the financial system itself operates. Because behind most portfolios, retirement accounts, and institutional funds, a small group of assets tends to do the majority of the work. The first investment many beginners encounter is the stock market, usually through broad index funds. To understand why this matters, imagine the global economy as a massive network of companies constantly building products, designing technology, transporting goods, and solving everyday problems. Each year, new businesses emerge, older companies expand, and entire industries evolve. Some companies succeed, while others disappear, but collectively, the system continues producing value. When someone buys shares through a broad market index fund, they are not betting on a single company or trying to predict short-term movements. Instead, they are participating in the long-term growth of many companies at once. This approach spreads risk across hundreds or sometimes thousands of businesses, while allowing investors to benefit from the overall expansion of economic activity. For beginners, this type of investment often represents one of the simplest ways to enter the market while avoiding the complexity of selecting individual stocks. The second investment many people encounter is bonds. Compared to stocks, bonds often receive less attention because they tend to grow more slowly and generate fewer headlines. Yet they play an important role in the architecture of financial systems. A bond is essentially a loan made by investors to governments or companies. In return for lending that money, the investor receives periodic interest payments and the eventual return of the principal. While stocks represent ownership in companies, bonds represent a more structured agreement between borrowers and lenders. For many investors, bonds serve as a stabilizing component within a portfolio, helping balance the more volatile behavior that stocks can sometimes exhibit. Over time, this balance between growth-oriented assets and more stable income-producing assets becomes an important concept in portfolio design. A third category of investment is real estate. Across centuries of economic history, land and property have played a central role in wealth accumulation.
Cities expand, populations grow, and the demand for space tends to follow patterns tied closely to economic development. When individuals invest in real estate, whether through direct property ownership or through real estate investment trusts, they are participating in the physical infrastructure of communities. Real estate behaves differently from stocks and bonds because its value is influenced not only by financial markets, but also by local economic activity, population trends, and geographic development. For many investors, this creates a diversification effect, allowing their portfolios to include assets tied to different economic forces. Another category of investment that beginners often explore is exchange-traded funds, commonly known as ETFs. At first glance, ETFs might appear similar to index funds, and in many cases they share similar structures. However, ETFs provide a flexible way to gain exposure to different sectors, industries, or geographic regions. Some ETFs track entire national economies, others follow specific industries like technology, healthcare, or energy, and some even track commodities or specialized asset classes. This structure allows investors to build portfolios that reflect broader economic trends rather than relying on individual companies. Over time, this approach can help investors align their portfolios with the larger movements of the global economy. The fifth category of investment is perhaps the least discussed, but often the most important for beginners: investing in knowledge and skill development. Financial assets are powerful tools, but they are usually funded by income generated through human effort, creativity, and expertise. When individuals improve their skills, expand their education, or develop specialized abilities, they often increase their capacity to earn income over time. This expanded earning power can then be directed towards other investments, creating a cycle where human capital supports financial capital. In this sense, learning functions as an investment, one that compounds through experience and opportunity. When viewed together, these 5 categories reveal something important about investing. The process rarely begins with complex strategies or sophisticated financial engineering. Instead, it often starts with simple structures that connect individuals to the broader economic systems around them. Stocks connect investors to companies. Bonds connect them to borrowers and institutions. Real estate connects them to physical communities. Funds connect them to global economic trends, and personal development connects them to their own ability to generate future income. Each category represents a different way of participating in economic activity. Over time, investors who understand these structures begin to see money differently. Instead of viewing income only as something to spend, they begin to see it as a resource that can be placed into systems designed to operate beyond a single paycheck. Inside that subway train, the difference between passengers remains invisible. Everyone continues traveling to work, stepping onto crowded platforms, and beginning another ordinary day. But somewhere within that routine, some individuals quietly redirect a portion of their income into these financial structures. And over many years, those small decisions slowly connect them to something larger than their daily labor. They connect them to the long-term movement of the economic system itself.